Yo. Testing. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Fuck it, let's go ahead and get this stream rolling.
Never miss another live stream again. Hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and click see all notifications.
What's the motherfucking deal? Hopefully the computer decides not to crash out on us this time. We're gonna bounce back. We ain't gonna never stop. We gotta deliver the flavor. So we're gonna get into this stuff, man. Look, hey, what's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to South Sports. South Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network. It means we're talking all sports, but only Houston. With that being said, tonight we're talking about the motherfucking Rockets. We're going to be doing a little bit of roundtable action, talking about the Rockets playoff game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves game 4 tonight in Minnesota. The Rockets lead the series 2-1. The last meeting, the Rockets took a nice little beating at the hands of, I want to say, 121-105, something like that. And you know how we start this thing off with the roll call, so make sure you shout out where you're from. If you're not from the city, make sure you shout out your city, state, town, Providence, all that good shit. But I'm not going to say it again because it will probably make the computer cut off like it did last time. But if you are from the city, make sure you shout out your side with pride. As we're getting that going, man, let's go ahead and get some things cracking. Let's make sure that if you're fucking with the Texans thing, that you are ready. This Thursday, April 26th, we will be having the first annual live stream digital draft party. So make sure you're in the mix, man. We will be live streaming during the draft, so make sure you're a part of that. Make sure you follow on Instagram and Twitter too, just in case anything ever happens with the channel. Sometimes I hit the Twitter, I hit the gram with some information first, and just in case you missed that, make sure you follow on Instagram and Twitter, man, because YouTube doesn't always give the notifications. A lot of times I'll put the stuff out first. So who do we got to sit with us in the round table tonight talking Rockets?
Laziest Texans, Houston Rockets, any Houston sports, the laziest YouTuber out there. Your boy Phoenix.
And you got your boy Wise out here. The wisest of them all.
That was my first time. White Persuasion.
Shout out to White Persuasion. Shout out to White Persuasion in the mix. So I appreciate y'all if y'all bouncing back from the first stream that just kind of went kaput on us, and we just going to jump back into it because, like I said, we only have a short amount of time. Matter of fact, you know what? Fuck this little shit right here. Let's go ahead and let's get this other thing. Let's get this cracking as far as getting into the 3 points to ponder. Lord, this shit don't fuck up on us too. Come on, man. The 3 points to ponder going into tonight's game. Now, the first point to ponder, if you will, if you want to call it a point, if you want to call it a thought, if you want to call it a concept or whatever it was. Now, we look at that game, and we've played Minnesota 7 times this year. Okay? 7 times. These are professional basketball players. People are going crazy. Oh, no, Minnesota finally got it. Or Houston, they're struggling with AC. People are saying all kind of crazy stuff. I mean, you can imagine what they're saying. Again, Minnesota is probably one of the best 8 seeds you'll ever see or that you have ever seen in the playoffs because, one, look at the talent on this roster. 2, again, like I say, they can hoop. They just fell into some injuries and had some issues and some slight concerns. Here, let me fix that right there. There we go. That's supposed to be that. But I want to talk about the first point to ponder, and the first point is a fantastic fluke, okay? Because that's all that was. We've played Minnesota 7 times, beat them 6 times, handily every time. This game, I don't know what the Rockets' problem was. Again, I don't look at it as a big deal. I told y'all in the post game that I felt like it was just a slap in the face, the wake-up call that, excuse me, that the Rockets have been needing because they have not, since the Rockets clutched the number 1 seed, they have seemed to be a little bit lackadaisical, and I think they need that slap in the face to let them know, well, there's somewhat a bit of risk involved, saying, hey, of course, we don't expect the Rockets to lose to these guys, but you're losing the game to let you know, hey, you guys aren't playing up to par. You need to step it up a notch. Here you're embarrassed on national television. Oh yes, I forgot about that. Let me get y'all sauce opened up. Everything got shut down with the government sauce shut down. But again, so the Rockets are need to be known that they are not playing up to par. Man, matter of fact, I got this ticker on an old ticker. I got to fix that too. That lets y'all know how fucking should be on off. Anyway, again, so how do you guys feel about that last game that was played? Do you see the Minnesota putting up numbers like that again, or do you feel like it was just a combination of events that had Minnesota inspired enough to play some of their best basketball of the season?
I don't know. That's not happening again.
First of all, I want to put up the crow because I said the Rockets was going to sweep Minnesota, so I got to eat crow on that.
Okay.
Second of all, that was a fluke. Minnesota just came out with energy. The Rockets didn't come out with no energy. They wasn't running their offense. We couldn't get Capella to roll to the rim. So when we don't play our game, we lose by a lot all the time. We get blown out. So.
Yeah, I think it's a good point bringing up like not playing our game. Like whenever Capella and when they're doing the pick and roll, like the Minnesota just cannot defend that pretty well. And especially in the first game, you saw whenever Capella had those crazy stats. It was all because we were doing what we do best, and we kind of like got away from that.
Okay, I can definitely agree. I'm not seeing that chemistry. I'm not saying that the chemistry's not there, but I'm just not seeing that fluidity that I saw earlier in the year. It seems like the ball is stalling a lot more. You're not seeing you're seeing guys trying to do too much. Those passes, those fancy passes and things that looked real good, that were crisp early in the year. Now it's just kind of you see the guys attempting the same thing, but then now they're resulting in turnovers and there's like a disconnect that it seems to kind of come amongst the team since that number one seed has been sewed up. It feels like to me that, I'm hoping that they're not content with that regular season goal and that, hey, this is the next level again. So I'm hoping that was a bit of a jolt to them to say, hey, you guys are going to have to go hard. It's this time it counts.
Yeah, we need to get back to the basics. We can't be doing all that fancy stuff because that fancy stuff eating us alive with turnovers right now.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I really do think that it was a fluke game because we also have to think about this. This was the first playoff game in Minnesota in 10 years?
14.
Something like that.
14.
Yeah. So I did think we were going to sweep, but if there was a game we were going to lose, it would have been this last one. They came out hyped because they're playing at home for the first time in a long time. So I do think it was a fluke. I don't think it's going to carry over into next game. And I think Houston's going to be trying to find that chemistry in this series.
No, really.
I took out just like a rocket. I'm gone. Elijah one HonchoSaucy.
Matter of fact, let me put that
just like
appreciate the love.
Looking at the stats, it's like, when's the next time that Wiggins is going to shoot 4 from 6 from 3?
Exactly. Like I say,
well, I mean, go ahead.
I'm saying there's just a few factors. I say when you look at that game, guys played out of their minds. The energy from that crowd. Again, the 7th time you've played this team, you would hope that eventually, out of the total of it, at least 8 times, well now 9 at minimum, that you're going to play, that you would get one win out. I mean, it's just to me, it's enough things that happen. That, okay, hey, you know what? Minnesota's a good home team. They had a solid home record, and again, like they said, they had a nice home streak before we broke it. I feel all those factors coming into play. Like you were saying, like if they were going to lose one, this would be the one to lose. Of course, we hope for the sweep, and the Rockets are more than capable of sweeping. They haven't put together, and which was going to be my next point going into the second point. They have not put together the complete team game in this series. Again, we've seen bits and pieces of the team going off, showing the potential firepower that we have. 1 or 2 guys over here go off, or Harden and Capella go off, or you got Paul and Green go off. But for some reason, Gordon don't want to go off on any other nights. You see things like this, and again, showing you the potential power of the Houston Rockets. But we've yet to see the full game put together, a complete offensive game. We've seen a solid defensive effort. But we've yet to see the solid defensive effort combined with that potent Rockets offense that we know, and putting together a nice blowout of the Timberwolves. We haven't seen a good blowout of the Timberwolves.
The thing was, last game, Ryan Anderson was open a lot of times, and he wasn't getting the ball. I'm like, yo, pass the ball up to this dude.
And he was making shots.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He was making shots.
We can't be going ISO. every single play. You can't do that in the playoffs.
Let me shoot y'all some flavor here. Let me shoot y'all some. But yeah, the thing is, I was glad to see Anderson back last game. Because again, like I say, he provides that range. Again, you have to respect him. He opens up the lanes because again, he can shoot from so far. You have to. Let me make sure. What's today? Monday.
Monday.
We'll give y'all 15,000 on the flavor. A little quick raffle. But again, I forgot short and sauce. I forgot we had the technical difficulties and everything else. So let me keep these mark my words, but these 3 points to ponder going so we can get to the mark my words and score prediction. But again, we have to play a complete team game. We've yet to see that from the Houston Rockets. Like I say, we've seen bits and pieces here, and we know that the Rockets are more than talented enough to dismantle the Timberwolves. We've done it all year. It's time to stop playing around. It's time for the Rockets to wake up and go ahead and get the Timberwolves out of here so we can go ahead and get rested as much as we can for our next round matchup because it will be tough no matter who we end up facing. Now that being the second point, and we jump to this third point, and then like I say, we can get into the more free-form topics and get these things here done. Now, the third point to ponder I have here is it's time for an MVP level event, meaning that it's time for James. And of course, James has had some nice games. So he had the 44-point game. He had 29 this last game, if I'm not mistaken, 29 or 25. I want to say 29. This last game, and then had a 12-point game. Was it game 2? Okay, but now it's time for James Harden to take over the series, to go ahead and make it unquestionable why he is the MVP. Not to let a team like the Timberwolves even linger to be in his presence. Go ahead and seal the deal similar to the first game and, go ahead and drop another 40-burger or two to go ahead and end this series and just show them why you are the MVP. Because what happens now, and this is what I hate about MVP voting and things like that, is the MVP is a regular season event. But you can't tell me that with the voting taking place later on and the season, starting immediately after the regular season, the postseason, that some of these actions and things that are going on in the postseason do not sway voters. You got AD balling right now. You got LeBron balling right now. So you're telling me that these things do not affect the thought process of some of these votes? Well, I know it's regular season, but little bitty stuff. Come on, we're human beings. They do get influenced, and so I would not be surprised. So I need James Harden to go ahead and have an MVP level event. Go ahead and seal the deal with these next couple of games and get the Timberwolves out of here, and go ahead and let everybody know why James Harden is the undisputed MVP, because you got other guys making good cases right now. Now, getting that out the way, let's get into the point, the most enjoyable point of the show, and that is the mark my words. And now, mark my words, if you're not familiar, is a bold prediction. You got to step out on a limb. You can't just say no anything, no everything, no average ass stat line. You got to make a bold prediction for what's going to take place in tonight's game. Okay, now you got to keep in mind there's going to be a rowdy home crowd from Minnesota again. They felt like they helped influence the game. It's been a while since they've had some playoff victories. Now you got the Rockets, who are clearly a superior team. They're just not playing up to par. They could be doing a little bit better. I mean, you got to think about a few factors. I can't give y'all all the factors, and y'all be stealing my predictions. But let's get mark my words. Let's get the score predictions both in at once, because again, like I say, we're on a shortened time frame due to the collapsing of the situation earlier, and I'll make sure to give my prediction here, because like I said, we only got a couple of minutes before the game gets started. So round table, let me get a mark my words from you guys. What are you guys feeling? What are you expecting to see happen tonight?
Man, it's really hard to predict who's gonna go off. I'm feeling that there's gonna be someone specific.
I'm gonna say Anderson 25 points plus with 5 made threes.
Okay. Wow.
And he gonna put up 10 rebounds.
What? 25 and 10 from the Anderson?
God damn.
Yeah, from White Rhino.
Okay, the return of the White Rhino. All right, cool. What's the motherfucking deal, Voodoo Child? What's going down? Stop it.
All right.
I gave you power.
mark my words, Gerald Green's going to hit at least 6 threes.
Okay.
All right, yeah, mine it's gonna be Eric Gordon. Finally has a breakout game. I'm gonna say 28.
Okay.
All right.
28 from Gordon. All right. I got you. And Rising Duck and White Persuasion. Already. Long live the Spurs. They will not be living much longer. And I actually feel bad for you guys. I gave you power. Honestly, I do. I'd love to see you guys contend. I feel like it's fucked up the way that Kawhi holding y'all hostage. That's not Spurs culture, you know. But it is what it is. Balin Rio says, mark my words, Rockets reform to regular season caliber. I'd like to see that. Voodoo Child says 66 from CP3 and Harden combined.
Oh.
What? Michael Jordan got the record for 62.
Look, I had to put a little suspense on y'all. I had to put the suspense on y'all. All right, combined. Let's see. There's nobody still close. There's nobody all right. Rockets wear earplugs tonight. Tony Texas says 25, 17, 19, and the Rockets win 98-93. All right. Let's see what we got. You said Harden with the 25. Paul with the 17. Gordon with the 19. All right. Let's see. Harden will have a triple double. You see him coming. You see him getting a Russell Westbrook. That's what they're gonna change it to now. He got a Russell Westbrook. He got a fucking triple double. Like that shit don't equate to wins though. Like when
Westbrook getting sunned by Ricky Rubio. So
man, that's what I'm saying. Don't they? Yeah, they play tonight too, huh? So that's gonna be.
If Westbrook really loses to this Jazz team, I'm 100% on the train of. He shouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
No, absolutely.
If he lose, he has Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, and fucking Steven Adams, and he can't beat a Utah team who's led by a rookie.
Okay.
And their second best is a center who can't score.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It's too bad the Basketball Hall of Fame is super easy to get into.
Yeah, I know. You just have to have fucking great storylines from your career.
Like D Rose might even still get in.
Yeah, that's a joke. He if he had played like his MVP D Rose, yeah, he should have got in. But this Derrick Rose, no.
Shit. He want to play like the MVP D Rose against us. Goddamn, he need to play like Hurt D Rose against us. He fucking been hooping. Voodoo Child says 122, 118. Okay, 122, 118. I gave you power. Your name is going back to what is it, Mr. 82 and 0. That's your name. You're Mr. 82 and 0 again. Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Buckets is the. No, I ain't gonna say you that bad. That would be a disrespect. I was gonna call him Jimmy Buckets as the Johnny Football, but that would be awful. That would be very.
I respect him too much. He's from Tomball.
Yeah, that's what I said. I can't talk bad on him because he looked like that. Casper Moon, Wolves win. Are you a Wolves fan? That's a new name. I'm not familiar with that one. Donovan Mitchell is a beast. I like Donovan Mitchell, man.
Donovan.
He should have been Rookie of the Year. But they gonna give it to Ben Simmons, but it should be Donovan Mitchell. Like honestly, on some real shit, it should definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Real talk.
If Ben Simmons was legitimately drafted this year, I would definitely vote for him for Rookie of the Year. Mm-hmm. But he got a year to adjust to the NBA. Mm-hmm. That's an unfair advantage in my eyes. So I definitely go Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Because I mean, boy's leading them over OKC. I mean, shit.
Yeah, one deep as a rookie. That's my thing, man. That's. I ain't mad at you, young pimpin'. Let me give my speculations and things here. Since we're a couple of minutes past the time, and then I'm gonna go ahead and jump out of here. But I'm looking at all factors being what they are. The Rockets get woke up. They get the wake-up call. They jump up early this morning. They in there in the gym getting a shoot-around in and all that other good stuff to say, hey, it's time to blast off. We've been using regular unleaded. It's time to put that premium back in the tank. You know what I'm saying? We've been going slow. We've been sluggish. We got to get that Chevron with Techron, you know what I'm saying, clean out the engines and all that shit. I feel like the Rockets snap back to the old Rockets pace. They show the worldwide they are the number 1 seed. Rockets with their foot on the Wolves' throat tonight. I'm going to say Rockets come out this game 123-98.
Woo. God damn. Okay.
25 points.
25-point victory. Playing no games. They finally get it together in game 4 of the series. The Rockets finally play a complete game of Rockets basketball, which we've been lacking, since this series has started, which we've been lacking since we've secured the number 1 seed. And so they finally get back to the Rockets band of basketball that we saw early this year. I had a theory in a video I wanted to do, but I never got around to doing it. But made me wonder, think about the culmination of all the threes that the Rockets shoot. You're shooting a shot that requires you to use so much more effort, and you shoot so many more threes than anybody else. Has all that effort combined over the season made the Rockets more tired than other teams? Do you think all that extra shooting has made their arms tired, has affected the way they shoot in the long run? I wonder.
I mean, when you put up a lot of threes in the gym, your arms start hurting after a while. So it affects your shot. It affects your mid-range shot too. So.
Tony Texas, that's the most racist thing I've ever heard. I'm just fucking with you. That's the same thing I hear every stream. Somebody say I look like Nene, so don't even trip.
But then again, fam, they do make $100 million to put up shots all day long, so it shouldn't hurt.
No excuse. Yeah, they should have a chef, whoever, to help them recover with all that. So yeah, no excuses from the manager taking this money.
And it's playoffs that they should be like amped up. And, like, adrenaline and everything.
I said this during another one of these Rockets roundtables that if Ryan Anderson didn't show up, he needs to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw another name in there. If Eric Gordon doesn't show up, he needs to go. Because he's making a pretty decently sized contract. And being honest, Gerald Green has outplayed him to this point, in my opinion, at least.
I honestly think it's possible that we could throw a package together, even though it's a lot of money. If somebody was willing to take on Eric Gordon with Rhino, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. There are a lot of bad NBA teams with a lot of cap space. I'm sure you could find somebody who would want those guys, especially considering they're at least decent contributors.
Especially with a young team that need veterans, so like Phoenix.
Hey, no. If you put Eric Gordon back on the Pelicans, that's a nice team.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
And Anderson.
That's not a bad look.
Drew Holiday, Boogie Cousins, Anthony Davis, Eric Gordon.
That would be hilarious though if Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon went to the 3rd team in a row together.
Oh man, that would be that motherfucker might as well become roommates if that's the case. Shit. That's hilarious. That's fucking funny. But with that being said, man, look, here's how we're going to do this, man. We will be live after the game. Thankfully, it's not a midnight fucking game, so it'll be a reasonable time. We'll be live after the game doing a post-game live stream. Get your thoughts on the game, reaction to what took place, so make sure you guys are tuned in. Can't give you an exact time because who knows what if the game goes into overtime. But if it goes into triple overtime and I tell you the wrong time, you show up at the wrong time, who fucking knows? So just make sure you stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that sub button and the bell button and all that other stuff. And then after the post-game show, those of you who were in the Kush Den earlier, you are aware we'll be the last Kush Den for a little while. And if you were not in the Kush Den earlier, then make sure you be in there. We're going to make sure we have a good one. It's going to go down, and then we'll talk about, the future of the Den and where we go from there. But with that being said, let's go watch this motherfucking Rockets. Go Rockets. Shout out to the round table for falling through and spreading some sauce with your boy. Sorry it had to be so expedited because the PC decided not to cooperate. But we'll catch y'all on the flip side. With that being said, man, Sauce Nation, Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I appreciate y'all. Most of all, y'all stay saucy. We out.